If you retire at 60 with £200,000 in your pension and £100,000 in an ISA, how long will that money actually last? The short answer? It can stretch all the way to age 90, giving you around £24,000 a year, that's £2,000 a month, with a cushion left over. But whether it lasts that long, or runs dry in your early 80s, comes down to one decision. Not the size of your pot. The order you spend it in. Welcome back to Pension and Benefits Guide. In this video, I'll show you how £300,000 can last 30 years, and the one move that keeps your pension income tax-free for well over a decade. Quickly, the assumptions. We're running the money to age 90, leaving around £30,000 spare for the unexpected. Each pension withdrawal uses UFPLS, a quarter tax-free, the rest taxed as income. In the gap years, we fill your tax-free allowance from the pension first, then top up from the ISA. We're assuming 3% growth above 2.5% inflation, a moderate figure, not an optimistic one. Here's the move. Think of your ISA as the tool you reach for first, not the spare tire in the boot. In the gap years before your state pension, draw from your pension only up to your tax-free personal allowance, £12,570 a year, completely tax-free. Anything above that comes from your ISA, which is tax-free no matter the amount. So your pension fills the tax-free band, your ISA covers the top slice, and your income tax bill in those years is zero. If this is useful so far, do hit like and subscribe, it genuinely helps the channel, and drop your questions in the comments. Now, over 30 years, starting around £285,000 after year 1. £24,000 a year is higher than the typical 4% rule, deliberately so, because the pot only has to carry you alone for 7 years before the state pension arrives. The steepest drop is right at the start, during those gap years. After age 67, the line eases as the state pension takes over the heavy lifting. By 90, you've still got around £30,000 left. But here's where the real impact becomes clear. Those gap years aren't the most expensive tax years of your life, they might be the cheapest. Before the state pension arrives, your whole £12,570 tax-free band sits empty every year. Fill it from your pension, and it comes out completely clean, no tax, for 7 straight years. Once the ISA runs dry later on, you'll withdraw a little more than you actually keep from your pension. If retirement planning has you exploring options like equity release, it's worth using a dedicated calculator to see roughly what you could borrow against your home. This lifestyle is a settled, essentials covered retirement, above the basic standard, just short of moderate once you count council tax, energy, and food. Comfortable, not luxurious, but nowhere near scraping by. Now watch this closely, the two pots don't drain evenly. Your ISA starts at £100,000, your pension at £200,000, but the ISA shrinks fastest since it does the topping up in the gap years. By your early 70s, the ISA is spent while the pension has barely moved. That's by design, you're spending the tax-free pot while it does the most good, and every pound the ISA covers keeps a pound of pension growing inside your allowance. One important note, don't take your whole 25% tax-free lump sum on day one. I see people do this and regret it. Spreading it out, taking a tax-free quarter of each withdrawal as you go, keeps your income inside your allowances for longer and offers far better value over time. A quick honesty check. These projections aren't a promise, everyone's situation differs, and this is information, not personal advice, so speak to a regulated advisor for your own numbers. That 3% return is an average, real markets don't behave that neatly, and a bad crash early in retirement can do lasting damage. A common safeguard is keeping 2 or 3 years of spending in cash, so you're never forced to sell investments at the worst time. Also remember the household picture. A partner's second state pension from 67, roughly £12,500 a year, or even a modest £100,000 pot of their own, transforms how long the money lasts. If you're part of a couple, don't judge your retirement on one pot alone. And one more thing, we run these numbers to 90 on purpose. The Office for National Statistics says a man of 65 today lives on average to about 84, a woman to around 86, and roughly 1 in 4 65-year-olds will still be here past 90. Planning to 90 isn't cautious, it's realistic. So here's the reframe. You came in worried about the size of your pot, but look at what the order did to your tax. For the first 13 years, your income tax bill is essentially zero, not because the pot is huge, but because the ISA held the top slice while the pension stayed inside your allowance. Those 13 clean years are what stretch your pot all the way to 90. Worth watching, the state pension is currently only £22 below the personal allowance, and the triple lock could push it over next year, potentially making it marginally taxable itself. So here's the one move that pulls it all together: map your gap years. Write out each year from 60 to your state pension age, and fill your tax-free allowance from the pension before touching a penny of ISA. Get that order right, and a retirement that looks tight on paper becomes one that's genuinely comfortable. If this helped, like this video, subscribe to Pension and Benefits Guide, and tell me in the comments, what's your biggest worry about making your pension and ISA last? To recap, it's not about how big your pot is, it's the order you draw it down in. And if you want to know exactly how the state pension and personal allowance interact next, stick around for the next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you there.